before, would the Milwaukee Bucks be in a better spot if Jason Kidd was the head coach?
I think they would be in the same spot.
Which is a first-round bounce?
Well, with the Giannis exit, you're not changing that, are you? Are you changing the Giannis injury too?
I don't think a head coach can change the result of an injury.
So there you go. So this is what I always say. This is my always point. Like, I'm not giving coaches a lot of credit or a lot of blame.
Sure.
95% of it's going to the players. I mean, because coaches really, when do they make a difference? Just certain situational things. Oh, we made an error here.
Right. End of game.
Right. Didn't sub right. Didn't call a timeout or whatever. Right. There's very few things. Like during the second quarter, they don't call a timeout. Who cares? Right. There's really nothing going on.
Typically it doesn't matter.
So players get most of the blame for me, and you're not changing anything. Like if Kidd was coaching Bucks, Giannis gets injured, they get bounced still. And if whoever's coaching Dallas right now, Dallas is cooking right now. Those two guys, Kyrie and Luka, are, I mean, they're ridiculously hard to guard.
So do coaches not make as much of a difference in the NBA as maybe they do in the NFL or other sports?
I'm just not familiar with, because I know because like in NFL, you're talking scheming, right, and plays, right? What your play sheet, your play call? What are you running? Like you have those situational plays. What do we got for third and short, right? What do we got for third and long, right? That's different because in the NBA, you don't run a lot of plays. I'm doing my air quotes here. Right. Plays. You run actions, right? And off of your actions, there's options depending on what the defense does. So that's how it works. It's not I run a play. There's set plays out of bounds. Sometimes they run a set, but it's a quick 1-2 action. And if it doesn't work, and even those actions, if the defense does something different, you change it. So it's not really a set play. We're going to do this, and that's it. Right? Football, that's it. And I'm going here, we're running here, you're blocking this guy, bam, we're going to go. So I think coaching makes a much bigger difference in the NFL than it does in the NBA.
Fascinating. Yeah.
Well, how many coaches do you got as well? You got like 50 coaches.
Yeah, 50 coaches versus, 4 or 5 in the NBA. Right. But it is fascinating to see the evolvement of Jason Kidd, who obviously was ousted during his time in Milwaukee. Giannis and him were very tight, but then they weren't winning. Yeah. And then they bring in Budenholzer. They win a title a few years later. And now here's Jason Kidd with the opportunity to win a title.
Budenholzer's out. Suddenly he wasn't good enough. And then they hire Adrian Griffin, and he wasn't good enough. And now they bring in Doc Rivers, and he's not looking good enough. This is what I say. It's like, I can't even take you with the blaming of the coaches stuff. And everybody
always have to have a scapegoat.
I know.
You got to have a scapegoat.
And he's the easiest guy. There's a million coaches floating around. And they do the merry-go-round.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, there's a cycle. There's like 40 coaches, 30 jobs.
Right.
In one year, those 10 guys will come back in. Yeah.
Right. You get like 5 or 6 new ones every year that come in, or they're sitting on benches now. They're being considered. So you always got that going on. But it's the same big group of guys.
It's true.
That are just going round and round. And that just tells me it's the personnel.
Right.
It's a little bit of luck with injury that you don't get, and a little bit of luck guys having a good year.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what you got.
You're right. I mean, in my opinion, the NBA, especially the playoffs, where the margin of error is pretty darn thin, it comes down to 3 things. You got to be good, you got to be healthy, you got to be lucky, right? Like sometimes you got to catch a break when it comes to injuries.
Yep.
And the Pacers did in the first round against the Bucks. They parlayed that into a Eastern Conference Finals appearance. Yep. For the Mavericks, right? They're good. They're healthy.
They got hit with injuries.
Right. Yeah, true that.
Right.
True
so
that.
They got in trouble.
Tyrese went out there late in that Eastern Conference Finals series.
That's what it is. It always comes down to injury. The finals can be the same thing. You're especially your stars. They got to stay healthy. If you're not deep, your bench has to stay healthy. I mean, that's just it. And for me, it's like Dallas has less to play with as far as that goes. Boston is much deeper. They can fill some holes a little bit more than Dallas can, I believe. So if injuries become a thing, and I don't mean like somebody's out injury, even if a guy's limited.
Yeah.
Like if something happens, he gets a little like Luka's slightly banged up. Like he's been like kind of limping through some stuff and kind of like wheezing and like looking crazy looks on his face because he's got something going on. I don't know what it is or where, but sometimes he doesn't look 100%. But again, the good thing for him is like his game is not based on speed and athleticism at all, so he doesn't really need to use it. So, we'll say I think it's going to be a good series, just because personally I think Boston's a better team.
I agree,
but Dallas, with those 2 wild cards, they can go nuts at any moment and just kill you.
And you know this better than most, Tony, but when you've got a true closer in the NBA, that makes a big difference.
Well,
Dallas has 2 of them. Exactly. Dallas has 2 of them, and Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. And look, that's not to say maybe Jaylen Brown isn't a closer, but if you're giving me a choice of Kyrie, Luka, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, who do I want on my squad in the biggest game? I'm picking Kyrie and Luka before I'm picking either of those other 2 guys.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what it is. They have the ability to get good shots on anybody.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing. Like, Tatum can take some tough contested shots. Brown, tough contested shots. They can make them. But you all right over there?
I don't know. My mic just went flaccid there. Yeah, that was something.
But yeah, they just have the ability to make some tough shots despite being guarded heavily. Right? It's just what it is. And like you said, Dallas has got 2 guys who can do that to you, and that's going to be dangerous.
Super dangerous.
Yeah.
And that's good. I hope it goes 6 or 7. I want a real series because the last week where we haven't had basketball has felt like the longest week.
It was kind of like, what's going on? Like, nothing's on TV. I was watching stupid Netflix all week. It's like, ugh.
No hockey?
Did not watch hockey.
I didn't either. I'm not a hockey guy. I can't get into it.
No, I cannot. I can't skate. That's why.
I can't either. I fractured my elbow going skating.
But I'll tell you what, though. I did go to a Dallas Stars game once. Absolutely
electric.
Mind blown how the skating ability of these dudes.
They're crazy. They move so quick.
Dude, to be honest, it's
second nature to them.
It's like they're walking on ground.
Dude, the last time I went, I had to use one of those I had to use one of those walkers they give to the little kids. Right. And I'm 6'3", hunched over using one of these damn things. It's an ugly sight.
Stopping on a dime.
Yeah.
Sprinting. Stopping, turning. I'm like, you're on blades, bro. Like, how is this happening right now? Yeah, incredible skating ability. But I don't mess with the hockey. I'm glad NBA's back, and man, we can't wait to see.
I can't wait to see it either. He's Tony Smith. I'm Alex Strofe in for Homer here on the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam. Our discount liquor poll question is in the field on Twitter at the Homer Hour. Which person with Bucks ties are you cheering for in the NBA Finals? Is it Jrue Holiday and the Celtics or Jason Kidd and the Mavericks? Is it bad? I'm rooting for Jason Kidd.
Jason Kidd?
I am.
Come on.
Dude, I love Jrue, but he got his title. He's good. And also, I don't want to see the Celtics win another one because I hate the Celtics.
Okay.
But if Jrue goes and has 40-point triple-doubles throughout the series and they lose, I'm fine with it.
You'll be happy, right?
Right. But Jason Kidd, I feel like he got the short end of the stick a couple years back when he was fired. It worked out all right for the Bucks.
Right.
But he's had a heck of a turnaround as a head coach. He's continued to learn and develop as a head coach. And he's got this Mavericks team at like a 10 out of 10 when it comes to the fun scale in terms of watching them, right? Like when I'm sitting my ass on the couch, having a drink, watching them play, they're so electric. They're so much fun to watch. Yeah. And that T-Wolves series wasn't as good as I was hoping, but those were 2 really fun teams. I'm really enjoying watching the Mavs. And I feel like he got the short end of the stick, man. I'm rooting for him to get one as a head coach just because I think it's funny to look at what our team here in Milwaukee has done, right? What the Bucks have done at the head coaching position since Kidd left. They got a title. But then they kicked him to the curb. Then they kicked his replacement to the curb after 35 games. And now they're stuck with Doc Rivers.
Oh, why you say it like that? Stuck with Doc.
Look, I think Doc was the best option available. But what's the knock against Doc, Tony? He can't win in the big game.
Win the big games.
He can't win the big games. And for a team that's championship window is what? 2 years left?
He did win a championship.
He did. 15 years ago.
What were
you doing in 08? You were practically still in the league at that point.
I know. I'm just saying he still won one. I mean, what happened to the once you win one, that's it. I'm in. Well,
when you're coaching for 16 years after that, and you've got championship team after championship team, and you can't get to the finals.
3-1 lead. I get it. I get all the stuff, but I'm just like, the guy won one. You guys got to get off of him a little bit.
16 years later?
Yes, I like Doc.
If Mike McCarthy was still the head coach of the Packers, would you be saying, hey, we should get off his back because he won one 14 years ago?
Well, again, I don't credit coaches like that. I'm not blaming them. I'm looking for players to blame. That's just me personally.
That's still working football, though?
It does.
Okay.
Unless you're, what's his name, who the Packers finally got rid of? Defensive coordinator, what was his name?
Joe Barry.
Thank you. Him I was blaming.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, I blame him, too.
Him I was blaming.
I blame him, too.
It's like, dude, you got some talent there. That's the thing that kills you. But like even in the Doc scenarios, like okay, yeah, you got a talented team, right? You got Lob City, you got who in Boston, like, but the other team has talent too.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you're just going against nobody and losing. Like, these teams are good.
Yeah, they're in the playoffs for a reason.
It's not like what Barry was doing, where you're just losing to everybody. You're just losing.
Yeah, you're just getting shredded by everybody, which is what Barry got.
That's a different thing. Like in the playoffs, like I don't know how you can fault. It's going to be hard to fault somebody in these playoffs unless they do something really, really bad, because both of the teams are good. Like, and and what people do, and I cannot stand it, is they sit around and they'll try to Monday morning quarterback talking about, they will have no idea, Stroh, what's going on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll be like, oh, the coach didn't make adjustments. That's their first go-to thing. He didn't make adjustments. What adjustments did he make? How do you know he didn't make adjustments? Same thing I tell Homer all the time. I said, Homer's like, he'll be like looking like, oh, what was that? And I'll be like, bro, you think Shaka drew that up in the huddle? I can promise you he didn't. 100% he didn't draw that up in the huddle. Something happened that threw somebody off, which throws everybody else off, and now the play looks crazy, right? So there's always that element as well. So I'm just like, man, I don't know. I don't talk about adjustments and not doing this and not doing that. And you just talked about the two guys that the Mavericks have.
Yeah.
They can be adjustment killers. Now, you can make any adjustments you want to. If they're cooking, it ain't working.
It sounds like you said the Celtics are the better team. You're picking the Mavs.
No, I'm picking Celtics because it's that whole the hare and the tortoise, right? The consistency of the Celtics, I think. Yeah. Dallas can be up and down, and when they're up, they're looking lights out. But they can take some down. We've seen Kyrie have some 4-point halves, right? We've seen Luka not being Luka.
Yeah.
And if they happen to not be themselves at the same time, Dallas is in big trouble. Who else they got to score? PJ Washington ain't getting his own. He's just spotting up.
No, he's spotting up, and but when he hits those shots,
Lively, Gafford, they're catching lobs.
Grabbing the boards,
but they're catching lobs. They're not doing any scoring on it. So the scoring load is really on those two guys. Oh. I mean, it just is. And if
and when you're facing one of the best defenders in the world, Jrue Holiday.
Well, they got a lot of defenders though. Yeah. Brown's good.
Yeah.
White's good. They got what other colors good? Brown and white.
Yeah, those are pretty good colors. Yeah, green.
All right.
Well, we will see. NBA Finals tip off tonight. You can hear that right here on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee. He's Tony Smith of Alex Stroh in for the Emmy Award winner Homer. We'll talk Jordan Love. Mike Tannenbaum had something to say on Wilde and Tausch yesterday. I want to get T. Smith's reaction to that on how Jordan Love should handle the offseason as he still fights for a brand new contract. That's next, right here on the Homer Hour, quarter number 2, coming up next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN.
Westbound on 894, backing up out of the Mitchell interchange through the construction zone to almost 68th Street. We've got some backups on southbound 894 as well, from just before Beloit Road down through the Hale interchange to about Forest Home. We've also got westbound on 94 slowing down from 25th Street all the way through to about Hawley Road. Southbound 4394 off on the left shoulder, got a broken down vehicle right about at Holt Avenue, so that's going to be adding to your headaches there. Traffic is brought to you by Johnson & Sons Paving. Potholes are a pain when they pop up in your asphalt. Johnson & Sons Paving can patch or replace the whole lot. Book an appointment now at johnsonsonspaving.com. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight. Isolated evening showers, otherwise mostly clear. A low of 54. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, breezy, a high of 74. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Also sponsored by Coors Light.
This is not like let's pretend there's competition so we can get our guy right. I think they have doubts about it, and he's going to have to earn it.
I'm not sure, even if you don't have to give up a ton to get DA back, I'm not so sure I want to mess with what we got and pay him that dollar amount.
Wilde and Tausch, weekdays 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN, and available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Many people with unique homes reach out to Pella because our team of experts can customize windows and doors that match architecture from any era.
I love that I have a home that's 100 years old. It's a historic district, and we didn't want to ruin the look by having modern windows in an older home. When I found out that Pella had an architecturally accurate product line, they simply guided us and helped us to make a great decision for our home.
Order today and get 0% interest for up to 48 months at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Certain restrictions apply in 6/30/2024. Eagle Sports Range has an unbeatable offer on concealed carry license classes. For just $49, enroll in their 3-hour class led by expert instructors prioritizing safety. Learn laws, techniques, and mindset for responsible carrying. Stick around for an optional hour of range time with instructors included in the package. Practice under professional guidance and gain confidence. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day at 2525 East Layton Avenue in Cudahy. Secure your spot at eaglesportsrange.com. Eagle Sports Range, where safety meets skill.
Baseball, grilling, festivals, tan lines, and Saz's. Summer in Wisconsin is the finest, and Saz's Statehouse is the place to be. They've been a Milwaukee staple for almost 50 years, so they know a thing or two about summer fun. Enjoy handcrafted cocktails, festival-famous combo platters on Saz's outdoor patio, or cool off with your friends at their famous round bar. Saz's complimentary shuttles are ready to take you to games and concerts at AmFam Field. Get details at Saz's.com, located at 55th and State. See you at Saz's.
In Wisconsin, bicycles are legal and intended users of the road. We remind drivers to share the road and make sure to slow down and give at least 3 feet when passing a person biking. Let's make sure everyone, no matter their mode of travel, gets home safely. Learn more at wisconsinbikefed.org.
This is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman. You hear me talk all the time about Bank 5-9 and their mission to make lives better. That mission extends beyond their customers and communities to their employees. Bank 5-9 was just honored again by Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel as a top workplace. That makes 15 years in a row. They were named the #1 mid-sized employer in the region and earned special recognition for the company's overall direction. Want to learn more about working with my friends at Bank 5-9? Visit bank59.com/careers. Equal opportunity employer, member FDIC.
Gear up for more Brewers action when the crew takes on the Reds June 14th through the 16th. Plus, get a Sal Frelick bobblehead on Saturday the 15th. Find your spot at brewers.com/tickets.
This is the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Tune in to Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus Audio Network, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Behind the Bucks dives deep into Bucks and Six, a culture unknowingly created by former Bucks star Brandon Jennings. Take a look inside the Brandon Jennings story, the origin of Bucks and Six, how it became the rallying cry, and what it truly means to Jennings and Bucks fans alike. Find Behind the Bucks on bucks.com/plus, PLUS, the Bucks app, and wherever you get your podcast. Behind the Bucks, presented by Gallagher. Best 60 minutes of your day. It's the Homer Hour. I'm Alex Strofe in for Homer alongside the Marquette Hall of Famer, the former NBAer Tony Smith, in studio with me in downtown Milwaukee, 5:20 on your Thursday. And Tony, yesterday, former NFL general manager Mike Tannenbaum joined Willie and Tausch weekdays 9 to noon on ESPN Wisconsin, talked about this Jordan Love contract situation. And boy, oh boy, did he get, he really grabbed a bucket. We called this the loopy bucket, right? And he grabbed one of the random loopy takes. He had this to say about what Jordan Love should do this offseason.
In terms of the number, if I was him, I'd play it out this year and walk in and say, hey, I want that number to start with a 6 next year. Because, again, given his age and his ability, I think time's on his side. So I don't think if I'm Jordan Love, I'm in a rush to get anything done.
Mike Tannenbaum says, if I'm Jordan Love, I'm not in a rush to get anything done. But what's being talked about right now is that Jordan Love should probably play on a deal this year if he signs a new contract that's worth, upwards of over $50 million. If he stepped onto the field, Tony, this September, when they head to Brazil, he would be owed only $12 million. We're talking about a $40 million difference. Is this as insane as I think it is?
So I don't get what Tannenbaum's saying.
He's saying essentially don't sign a new deal, wait till next year and sign one that's worth $60 million a year plus.
Right. As opposed to the
signing something that's $50 million or $52 million a year.
Yeah, but the question is like how long? Because it's a year difference, right?
Right.
So, you got to do the math of that.
Well, he's at least losing $40 million.
Well, yeah, I guess in that way, yeah, he's going to lose 40. So, do you want to lose 40?
No.
You're suggesting he loses 40?
I mean, I think Tannenbaum's suggesting he holds out, takes the 12.7 he's owed this year, and then wait until next year and hope he's paid 60, but I don't think you're making that up over time. And that's also assuming everything goes spectacular this year, right? That's assuming he doesn't crap his pants for 17 straight weeks.
But I mean, like, that's what everybody's hoping, right? Everybody's hoping he kills it, obviously.
Right.
But I said that to somebody before. I said, listen, the Packers, they're setting themselves up either way for Jordan Love to have a big payday. And the thing is, like, he's only got to play mediocre. It's not like he has to play lights out.
No, he doesn't need to be the best quarterback in the league.
So
preferably over mediocre, though.
I mean, you hope he does, but I'm saying for his sake, I mean, he's going to have to play just okay, and the Packers are going to be stuck anyway.
Yeah.
Packers are going to be stuck anyway. So
the Packers are going to owe him a big
They're going to owe him a big paycheck either way. So for him, I don't think it really matters. I mean, Tannenbaum he's playing the big game. Like, oh yeah, okay, I'm going to really put you guys.
He grabbed that crap out of the loopy bucket,
right.
Tony.
I mean, it's a gamble, right? It's a gamble, and it's like, okay, why not get something crazy? Why not? I mean, it's not a bad idea. I mean, if you're Jordan Love, you feel really good, confident, do it.
So let's say, back in the mid-'90s when you went to Phoenix after your stint in L.A.,
yep.
I said to you, hey, I want you to go to Phoenix on a one-year deal. You're going to sign it for X amount of dollars.
If you're my agent?
Yep, you're going to sign it for X amount of dollars. Yep. But after this season, Tony, you're going to get bonko dollars if you play well. We're talking top 5 player money.
1 year.
You would have?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I know you were only with Phoenix for 1 year. But
correct. I mean, I was there for half a season. I was there for half, Miami for the other half.
That's right.
So, I mean, but still, I mean, the players, what player's not going to have confidence in themselves?
But if you could make $40 million more than what you are owed this year, why would you not do that?
Yeah, but you're thinking down. Well, so if I don't, the $40 million is only going to be for what, 2 years maybe?
Well, he's going to make $40 million more, so it'd be 50. I would guess he'll probably sign somewhere around 52 per year. He's due 12 this year, but that would kick into effect this year. So he'd get a $40 million raise this year.
Right, but I'm saying but the what he's on and what he's going to get for how long though, and then as opposed to I'm playing it out this year and then I'm signing another one. Mm-hmm. So that next one's going to be big money and for longer.
So you don't think what Tannenbaum's saying is?
I don't think it's crazy out there. It's a gamble, but
it's
again,
a big gamble. What if he tears his ACL? Then he's never the same.
That's the gamble part. But again, to his advantage is the fact that he doesn't have to play lights out. That's the thing. He has to just play above average.
Maybe in the building the expectations change. And maybe if you're his camp, the expectations change.
I don't know how they can, based on what he's done. He doesn't have a long track record. Like, you have nothing to base what he has to do off of.
But you do. You have a season.
You have and half he didn't play well.
That's true.
So you have him playing well a half a season. So if that's your baseline, okay, I got to play. I don't have to play well for like the last half of the season like I did. I got to play well for 3/4 of the season. Yeah. I got a quarter of the games to stink it up.
So, the contract aside for a second, what do you view the expectation as for Jordan Love? Is he a top 10 guy? Is he a top 8 guy?
I don't think he has to be. I don't know. You got to dig through all the quarterbacks and see who he has to be better than. But I don't think he's going to be that high. I don't think he has to be that high.
Okay.
I think he can be middle of the pack. He can be number 15.
That's not worth $50 million.
But that's what he's going to get.
Yeah, you're right.
Either way, so that's what I'm saying though. It's not always like what he's worth.
Are you a Jordan Love pessimist?
I'm a Jordan Love. I'm holding steady till I see something. I just don't. I can't judge, and I'm not the GM, so I don't have to. I can't judge off of the last half of the season.
But what I'm gathering is it didn't click for you. Like you're not sold on how it clicked for him in the second half of the season.
Oh yeah, that's it. No, I'm not. No, not at all.
So I shouldn't be sold on Jordan Love because I'm sold on Jordan Love.
I mean, listen, you can't be. A lot of people are, but there's a lot of people that aren't. And like I say, like my agent told me one time, he said, "Hey, it doesn't matter what everybody thinks. only matters what one person thinks.
That's true.
And if the one person is the Packers GM, guess what? You're in good luck.
You're in good shape
then. So, I mean, that's just what it is. I think he's going to be good. I don't see him slipping, going backwards.
Agreed.
But everything I've heard is there's assumption that he's going to make this jump because of what he did on the back end of last season. Like, okay, he seems to have figured it out is what the narrative is out there. He seems to have figured it out. So he's only going to get better now. It's the same assumption that every player in every league and every team goes through they were this last year, so they're going to get incrementally better. I don't know how much, but they're going to get a little bit better than they were last year, right? Especially young players. They're just going to improve through their experience from last year. They're working the offseason. Mm-hmm. Bam, going to get better. That's the assumption. A lot of times it's a safe assumption. That's why you have rookies and then you have second year and third year. They're usually better in those second and third years. So listen, you hope Jordan Love is good, but like we were talking about the NBA playoffs, a lot depends on injuries and your team situations. Like there's a lot of little things. You get a key lineman hurt, a receiver goes down, your back goes down. Now I can't help you. Like you got a lot of stuff that can affect your performance.
There's a lot of factors, but also the factor you mentioned, which shouldn't be ignored, which is progression is not guaranteed.
It is not guaranteed.
However,
it's assumed.
It's assumed for Jordan Love. I'm totally sold.
Everybody. You are. I don't know why. Why are you totally sold?
Because
try to sell me.
What I saw from early November through the postseason looked like a guy that can be and also played like a top 5 quarterback in the league.
Top 5, huh?
Yes. He was better than everybody in the second half of last year. He was number 1 in every statistical category. Touchdowns, passing yards, completion percentage, you name it. He was there. Now, with the young offense around him, and again, this is assuming progression, which I shouldn't do because you know what happens when you assume. You're right 90% of the time is what happens when you assume.
Right.
And I just think, and maybe not all those guys, maybe not each tight end, maybe not all 4 wide receivers take a jump because I do believe in the sophomore slump.
Right.
But I also believe in the sophomore jump.
You believe in the progression, but not for everybody.
It's not guaranteed for everybody.
What you just said.
But for Jordan Love, it's guaranteed.
Okay.
I'm guaranteeing it. Call it a guarantee.
But for all the receivers, no, not all of you. Like a couple of you are going to still.
Some of you might be really good, but some of you might just flatline. We might just have what you
Anybody going to go regress and go back?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Well, unless Christian Watson pulls another hammy,
right?
Then he might.
Best ability is availability. So he's got to be on the field.
But you could already start fitting Jaden Reed for the gold jacket, Tony.
Really? Okay.
Oh yeah, he's going to make that jump. That sophomore jump. Somebody else might sophomore slump, but Jaden Reed's sophomore jump.
Reed, yeah. Yes.
TVV, Tim Van Voren, Fox 6 sports director, joins us next. Tony Smith, Alex.
The Homer Hour is back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Couple of issues out on the road. First of all, 4394 southbound at Holt Avenue off on the left shoulder. Got a broken down vehicle. Starting to see some delays heading past that scene. Coming down from the Marquette. Also, 43 southbound at Highland. We have the center lane blocked with a crash. That's going to be tying things up. It's already pretty heavy heading through that area anyway. Northbound is going to be slow also from North Avenue all the way up to Keith. Westbound on 94, we've got delays basically from the Marquette all the way to Mitchell Boulevard with the eastbound side heavy from before 84th Street through the stadium to about 35th. Traffic is brought to you by the club at Lac La Belle. The historic course is open to the public 7 days a week. Schedule your tee time at club@laclabelle.com. And check out the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight. Isolated evening showers, mostly clear otherwise. A low of 54. Tomorrow, partly cloudy and breezy, a high of 74. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
ESPN Radio Sports Beat with Q Myers.
Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb did not report to mandatory minicamp on Tuesday as he's looking for a contract extension, one that he's clearly earned. And coming off the heels of the Justin Jefferson extension that was signed in Minnesota, he wants what the kids call the bag. And he will get something very close, if not more. It's just the price of business in the NFL. Like I always say, yesterday's price is not today's price. The Cowboys also need to find a way to sign quarterback Dak Prescott to an extension and work out a deal with stud edge rusher Micah Parsons. Getting those 3 signed is a challenge in itself, but for this exercise, let's say that they do it. What have they done this offseason to show that they are all in and ready to take that next step? Sign Eric Kendricks? Bring back Zeke Elliott? Welcome Mike Zimmer as a defensive coordinator after losing Dan Quinn to D.C. as the Commanders head coach? For the Cowboys and their very passionate fan base, this has been a very uneventful offseason and definitely does not scream all in. Coming up in 60 seconds, what Christian McCaffrey resetting the running back market again means to the 49ers and their championship window.
This Father's Day, the Home Depot has same-day delivery on the perfect gift to help Dad be everything he can be. Because your dad is more than just a dad. He's groundskeeper of the yard, the perfecter of the patio, and the cleaner of the clippings. Let the Home Depot help power Dad's doing with the convenience and gas-like power of Milwaukee cordless outdoor tools. Plus, get up to $150 off select Milwaukee tools. For everything Dad is, find the perfect gift at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Order select and stock items by 4 p.m. subject to availability.
People are going to want to see you fall when you get to the top.
3 stars, 1 season, changing history.
Cardoso for 3. Banks it in! To plan these environments, this is what we work for. We fought so hard all season long.
You could not have scripted a better ending to this magical women's college season.
Kiki Rice, Camila Cardoso, and Caitlin Clark. ESPN Plus Original presents Full Court Press, presented by State Farm. Stream now on ESPN Plus.
The 49ers rewarded running back Christian McCaffrey with a 2-year contract extension on Tuesday that'll pay C-Mac $19 million per year. On top of that, the team added $8 million over what McCaffrey was supposed to make in 2024 and 2025 and added $24 million in guarantees. While C-Mac is happy with his situation, you still have wide receiver Brandon Ayuk, who is a key piece in the 49ers offense. He needs a new deal. The 49ers drafted wide receiver Ricky Pearsall in April's draft, who could easily be looked at as a guy who could take the place of Ayuk. Maybe not this season, but next. Sooner rather than later, the 49ers will have to address their quarterback situation and pay Brock Purdy real starting quarterback money. He's under contract this season for $985,000 and just over $1 million in 2025. To me, it looks like the 49ers have this season and maybe next before that window where you can see the promised land through has turned into one-sided glass and not in your favor. We know the talent is there. What about the sense of urgency? For the ESPN Sports Beat, I'm Q Myers.
You're listening to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN. The 3 most important letters in sports. Even better than those.
TVV.
It's Fox 6 Sports Director Tim Van Voren on the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
TVV on the Homer Hour. I'm Alex Strofe in for Homer alongside the Marquette Hall of Famer Tony Smith. Tim Van Voren, Fox 6 Sports Director, joins us now. TVV, if you're heading to Brazil, I hope you're not wearing green, at least according to Josh Jacobs on the Green Light podcast today. That's going to be an interesting one for 2 teams that wear green.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I am not going to Brazil. At least that would be a major turn of events for me to be going along. I'm okay with that, to be honest with you. Watch this one. I think it's largely a TV event anyway. Teams are going to be sitting in their hotels, play the football game, get back, play the rest of the season.
What do you make of this, though? I saw Josh Jacobs just earlier today on the Greenlight podcast said they're going to be shuttled, as you just mentioned, from hotel room to stadium, can't leave from their hotel when they're down in Brazil. It's all business down there, but it's the Eagles, it's the Packers. Apparently, there's a thing with a rivalry for the soccer team that plays down there. What are they going to wear? An alternate unit? I'm very confused by this. I just saw this in the commercial break.
Yeah, I think that they probably wear, the Eagles are the home team, so I'm assuming the Eagles are going to wear the green and hope to play into the Sao Paulo loyalties down there. The Packers are going to have a monster fan base for that game. It's gone from, an Eagle home game to, quote-unquote, technically a neutral game, but probably a Packer fan advantage at least. I'm assuming Green Bay will be in the white tops, but there'll be plenty of, the Sao Paulo collars down there are green and gold, so it's going to be a lot of Packer people, I have to believe. And it's going to be just a made-for-TV event. It's going to be like, what those leagues you saw kind of during COVID. Show up, play the game. Don't show the much about anything else. Just look at what's happening on the field.
TVV, how are you, buddy? Hey, what do you think of these overseas games anyway? I mean, are you a fan of these games?
Not particularly, Tony. Number one, awesome to talk to you again. Not particularly. I understand what the league is doing. They're going to get a monster bump out of this in places where they don't always get a monster bump. They don't need a monster bump in Green Bay. They don't need a monster bump in Philadelphia. So, the fans, it's not a great deal for Green Bay. It's a way worse deal for Philadelphia. They lose a home game against a marquee team, two teams that it could matter in terms of NFC playoff positioning and seeding. Those fans are deprived of that game in Philadelphia. That's a monster game. The NFL gives you those opponents going out for the next 4, 5, 6 years. Eagle fans were saying, all right, Green Bay, that's going to be a great game coming to Philly. Not. So you know what the NFL is doing, and it's not playing to the fans it already has. It's playing to a new market, and that's what they're going to get.
It is what they're going to get. Tim Van Voren with us here on the Homer Hour, ESPN Milwaukee, ESPN Beaver Dam. The conversation continues, TVV, around the Jordan Love contract extension. We know it's coming eventually. I heard Brian Gutekunst earlier this week talking to the media, said they want to get it done by training camp for sure. What I think fans and maybe some of us in the media are forgetting is Jordan Love ain't Aaron Rodgers. I imagine this thing will get done by training camp. Where are you at as we stand on June 6th?
Homer had it at 98%. I bumped him to 99. I see no reason in the world why this won't be done before training camp. Jordan Love has done everything the Packers have asked him to do since he's come into the NFL. And the Packers have basically done what they told Love they would do to this point. And Love, in the second half of last season in particular, played well enough to warrant money based on the future, based on his potential, based on comparative numbers to other NFL quarterbacks. So all that lines up for, whatever bump it is. Tony can, squash some of that because it's professional sports. But whatever emotional bump comes with, we're signing this guy right before training camp, and that's going to be our springboard into the season.
Is there contract talk fatigue for you, TVV? Are you sick of it? Because you just said 99% it's done by training camp. You view this as a nothing burger on June 6th.
I view this as definitely going to get done. I'm probably ambivalent in terms. I'm not worked up about, oh my gosh, we're talking about it again, and I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned about it either. Really, I mean, I think it's the way you do business in the NFL. It's the way the Packers do business. Nothing is going to be more focused upon in Green Bay than the way they handle their quarterback, who they sat for 3 years after trading up for, and then gave the reins to. That's a monster position. The optics of everything you do with that quarterback are going to factor into any decision you make. So they're going to handle this exactly the way you would probably do it on a script. And unless Jordan Love throws some, stick in the spokes of the bike, why wouldn't it just keep rolling? So I expect this thing to get done. What's training camp starting July 22nd? Hey, we're stand by July 15th. Here we go. Get this thing done. Packers, Love, everybody into camp. Everybody's fired up.
So, Strofe was telling me about, who was it, Mike Tannenbaum, you said, was talking about?
Mike Tannenbaum, yeah.
Said he was talking about Jordan should maybe take a gamble. What do you think about, have you heard that? And what do you think about that?
Played this season on the $12 million deal, and then next season asked for over $60 million a year is what the former NFL GM Mike Tannenbaum suggested, TVV.
Yeah, and, I know why Mike's a good guest on this fair station and platform, because he says interesting things. If he says what I'm saying, if he says what everybody else says, oh, they're going to get it done. That's not that interesting. That's not that sexy. So I can see from his standpoint why you'd say that. I would be stunned if Jordan Love does that. Again, I think Jordan Love is going to take an astronomical leap in terms of money from where he is now to what he's going to get, in my mind, going into this training camp. He doesn't need to hold anybody hostage to go $10 million more after that at this stage of his career. He's seen the way things play out in Green Bay. He's seen the way, things can get a little askew. There's no reason to do that. Right now, all the momentum is going forward. I heard the Tannenbaum comments. I respect Mike Tannenbaum. I don't think that's what will happen here.
Yeah, I mean, you don't think it's going to happen, but it's still interesting, TVV, to think about. No, he could very well, because as I was saying, I'm like, how well is he expected to play even? Given he's really only had a good half of a season, right? And now he's already in line for all this money. So how well does he have to play if let's say he does say, I'm going to just see what happened, what I do this year, and then see how much they're going to have to pay me, because they'll have to pay you more if you play well. But I don't think that level is high, is what I'm saying. So although we know he's not going to do it, it didn't seem like it would be a bad idea if he did.
I think I think he will be. If you look at the numbers, Tony, as you said, last half of the season, absolutely tremendous numbers. Really, 3/4 of the season, you can live with what Love was giving you for sure. But you're selling the come. You're selling the future. I remind Homer of this. I don't want to sound like a downer on everything about the Packers, but as recently as
That's my
Christmas weekend, as Christmas weekend last year, guys, do you recall the vibe about the Packers? They barely beat the Panthers and Bryce Young on Christmas weekend. Then they play the Vikings, who start Jaron Hall, who was atrocious. Their own play-by-play guy at halftime of the radio is saying it was an embarrassing performance. So the Packers walked over that game. And then they get the Bears in what turns out to be Justin Fields' final game, and they beat them, but they didn't run them off the field either. So as recently as Christmas, there were questions about the Packers in general, chances of the Packers getting into the playoffs, Jordan Love's ability to win big games, etc. Now, full credit goes to going down to Dallas and, blowing the doors off the Cowboys and then hanging with the 49ers as well as they did. So to me, it's all on the come. It's all potential. If I'm Jordan Love, I take that. If this is let's make a deal, I take what I don't need door number one. I'll take what you're offering me right now and be very happy with it.
Great game show reference from TVV with us here on the Homer Hour. Let's make a deal. Real quick, TVV, before we let you go, I want to flip over to the NBA Finals. It feels like it's been 8 years since the last NBA game was played, but you have the Dallas Mavericks, led by former Bucks head coach Jason Kidd. You have the Boston Celtics, their star point guard, former Buck, Jrue Holiday. Number one, where do your allegiances lie, Kidd or Holiday? And how do you think this series plays out as it tips off tonight on ESPN and ABC?
I really commend Jason Kidd for his, kind of humbling path after coaching in Milwaukee. He did a lot of things to kind of rebuild his reputation, maybe improve himself as an NBA head coach. I think you have to commend that and commend him for that. But my allegiances would surely lie with Jrue Holiday. I thought he was a tremendous player. I thought he was a tremendous guy. You hear so many good things about him because that's who he is. This isn't a lip service thing. This isn't a photo op. Jrue Holiday is legit one of the finer guys you're going to ever deal with, and a tremendous player. And he certainly found a home in Boston. So my allegiances would be with Jrue Holiday. I think it's a series, though. I actually think that Dallas gives them some games. I think Boston wins, but I think Dallas gives them some games. So I'm comfortable Boston in 6.
I like it. TVV, Tim Van Voren.
It's Bucks in 6, not Boston in 6.
Yeah, you're right. He screwed up the motto. TVV, appreciate the time. Good catching up with you.
Awesome, you guys. See ya.
That's Tim Van Voren, Fox 6 sports director. Insights on the green and gold and everything else.
Boston's going to try to steal that now.
Boston in 6?
Yeah.
No, they're not. They're not printing T-shirts like the people were outside of Fiserv.
That's true.
But you're right. When TVV speaks, people listen, especially the entrepreneurs printing T-shirts in Boston. I know they're really big in the TVV fan club. He's Tony Smith. I'm Alex Strofe with you for about 15 more minutes. I got to dive deeper into this whole Brazil thing. They can't wear green. I don't get it. I'm going to dive deeper in the commercial break. T. Smith's going to comment on it as we wrap up the Homer Hour. Coder 4 coming up next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN. Alex Strofe is Mr. Irrelevant.
And they got a title, but I worry about what the future of this team is.
Tune into ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12:30 for Mr. Irrelevant with Alex Strofe.
I do not touch TikTok at work.
I don't believe you at all.
Look at my screen time if you want to. You can look at my screen time if you want to. I'd happily send it to you.
Mr. Irrelevant with Alex Strofe every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12:30 on ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
The Vollrath Company implemented a DocuWare content management solution from James Imaging Systems. Vollrath Director of Information Systems, John Sharp.
They've helped us upgrade from a previous version of our document management to automate our accounts payable processes, to store the invoices to the three-way match, and really streamline those processes.
In addition to a DocuWare content management solution, the key to continued success is the James Imaging Systems Solutions Group.
And as an extension of our team, they've got intimate knowledge of why we've done some of the things that we do. And when we run into any issues, they're there to support us.
A DocuWare content management solution from the James Imaging Systems Solutions Group.
They know exactly where we are in our project cycle so that we've always got continuous improvement.
Content management and workflow automation from James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor. If it's a celebrate or tailgate when you're gonna recreate upstate. If it's a holiday, birthday, any date, you can save at Discount Liquor.
It's the world's largest music festival, and you'll be there compliments of Discount Liquor. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor. There is no other party like Summerfest. Buy any one 15-pack of 16-ounce aluminum bottles of Miller Lite, Coors Light, or Coors Banquet, or any one 12-pack of Vizzy Hard Seltzer and receive one free Summerfest ticket. Visit us at 51st in Oklahoma and Milwaukee and in Barstow and Maine in downtown Waukesha.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings.
See us for your free Summerfest ticket and check out our specials at discountliquorinc.com.
Discount Liquor.
They say seeing is believing, and when you see what's inside at American Place Casino, you better believe you're gonna love it. Because when it comes to amazing gaming, we're a real game changer. With the most exciting of table games like blackjack, craps, and roulette, the newest slots, a sportsbook, restaurants, bars, and more. So if you're ready for excitement, we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
Summer with Saz's. Wonton wrapped mozzarella sticks, refreshing craft cocktails, crispy sour cream and chive fries, barbecue pulled pork sandwiches, you name it, they've got it. Saz's State House has been a Milwaukee staple for almost 50 years. So grab your friends and come experience the finest for yourself. Join them on their outdoor patio or pull up a seat at Saz's famous Round Bar. Complimentary shuttles are ready to take you to games and concerts at AmFam Field, located at 55th and State. Learn more at saz's.com.
Gear up for more Brewers action when the Crew takes on the Reds June 14th through the 16th. Plus, get a Sal Frelick bobblehead on Saturday the 15th. Find your spot at brewers.com/tickets.
Right now, more than 100,000 children waiting in foster care need our help. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is focused on finding them safe, permanent homes. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
Welcome back to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Wrapping up the Thursday edition of the Homer Hour alongside the Marquette Hall of Famer, former NBAer Tony Smith. I'm Alex Strofe for Homer. I spent the commercial break reading about Brazil and some of the rules at Corinthians Stadium, or Corinthians Arena, where the Eagles and Packers are playing Friday night of Week 1. You can't wear green, but why would they book the Eagles and Packers? Did the NFL just miss this when they scheduled the game? The NFL has not commented on it. The Packers haven't commented on it.
Choice.
The Eagles haven't commented on it. They grabbed two teams
with green
as their primary color in a stadium where there is an informal ban on the color green.
Oh, okay. So whoever set it up, but also the people who own the stadium. Like, if you ban green and the NFL says, hey, we're going to have the Packers and the Eagles.
You'd think maybe a Google search the logo, at the very least.
Something. Like, both of those teams wear green. Like, can we get two other teams?
Or can we just lift the ban?
That? I don't think they're going to lift the ban.
Why would
you think?
You'd think they want a national spotlight. I don't know. Like, if let's say that the Eagles went.
None of it makes sense.
The black color scheme, but their helmets would still be green. Maybe they have a black helmet they can wear, and then the Packers go all white with the yellow helmet, but they're still green on the helmet.
They're still green.
I don't know if there's a workaround. I'm trying to figure out the workaround in my head.
They got to wear the. You can have the Eagles wear the white out.
Okay.
And then you can have the Packers wear the yellow out.
But isn't their helmet still green?
I'm just saying, white it out.
Yeah.
Just go straight white.
Think they make like a brand new helmet for this?
White and silver.
Maybe head up a local high school and
brand new unis. It's a big game.
Yeah, I guess they can afford that, can't they?
You
think so?
They can afford some extra uniforms.
Oh, you think?
Another
Okay.
set and some helmets. Yes.
Okay.
Let's go all white Eagles, all yellow Packers.
I kind of like that. It looked a little ugly, but
It's
I
gonna
like
be
it.
ugly. Oh, the yellow's gonna be ugly.
Yeah.
All yellow.
Yeah.
Yellow.
All
You
yellow.
you go yellow and white. The Eagles would have to go white and silver.
Oh. This is gonna look gross.
It's gonna look disgusting. That's the workaround.
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't like the workaround. I mean, why not just say, hey, man, it's a one-time thing. It's fine. Let it go.
Right. Everybody don't go crazy.
There you go. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, you said they fined a guy.
Yeah, Corinthians did. So they fined one of their strikers at the time for wearing green cleats, and then he had to release a statement apologizing to the fans.
Dumb.
Because
so dumb.
he said he wears Corinthians on his chest proudly, and he didn't mean to disrespect anybody by wearing green cleats.
Oh, boy.
So this could get messy. Josh Jacobs on the
Kissing
Green
up.
Light podcast with Chris Long today, saying also that they will not be able to leave where they're staying before the game unless they are essentially escorted in armored vehicles in Sao Paulo, Brazil. So this is a little bit more of a cluster than I think they anticipated when they signed these teams up.
Not safe over there.
Apparently not. I can't say I've ever been. You been to Brazil?
I have not, but I've heard you got to be careful if you're a tourist over there.
Interesting.
You got to be careful.
I'm just gonna Google search.
A lot of stuff going on in Brazil. I would not.
It says Sao Paulo is a pretty safe city in Brazil, according to Google, but the internet never lies. As you
safe. Oh yeah, safe in comparison. Probably.
Travelguide.com. I've been to Sao Paulo many times and have never experienced anything dangerous. Just get the right procedures. You'll be fine. You would think the NBA or the NFL rather will be able to implement some security measures.
They did.
I'm fascinated.
They did. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere. Stay in your hotel room.
Stay in your hotel room.
It's like the COVID bubble.
Get a shuttle. Now I think I was talking to somebody and they were there and they said that they had to get.
Where's this? The bubble or Sao Paulo?
No, in Brazil. I don't know if it was Sao Paulo, but it was in Brazil somewhere. Okay. And the guy was like, "Yeah, we had to get security to go anywhere." And they said they were going somewhere one time, and there's this guy telling me, he said, "Yeah, we got in the car, me and my wife, we're driving down this street, and we're about to cross this bridge, and the driver's like, he saw something, and he's like, we got to go back." And the guy was like, "What?" He says, "Yeah, look down there." And he said there were some guys on the bridge. And just sitting down there. And he was like, "Yeah, we can't drive past there."
Oh.
So I don't know what it was. He didn't tell him what it was. He just said, "We're not going that way." He's like, "I'm not going down there."
Oh.
Apparently, I don't know if it was gang something, and we're like monitoring the bridge, and they're just going to harass whoever was coming across. I don't know what was going on, but he said no.
Okay.
The driver said, "I'm not going down there."
Interesting. All right. Well, I guess we'll keep an eye on this situation.
Vacation, you got to be careful going somewhere.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But the NFL wants to go international.
Well, I mean, the NFL's got the security to do it.
Correct.
They're going to go in there and they're
you
going to
and me, maybe not.
No. Well, I mean, we could pay for it.
We could go tear it up in Brazil.
Yeah, we pay for it. I'm not going. You can go.
I'm not going. It's a Friday night in September. At least the weather's good here.
Be safe, man.
That's fair.
I'm safe. I'm going to stay in Milwaukee.
All right, I agree. I'll stay in Milwaukee.
Safe enough there
as well. I agree.
I know my lane here.
Yeah, you know what you can and cannot do in Milwaukee.
Go right from the station, home. Bam.
Good idea. I'm going to do the same thing. He's Tony Smith. I'm Alex Strofe with you. A couple minutes with you left here on the Homer Hour on ESPN Wisconsin.
Game one. Who do you got?
Game one.
Who do you got?
It's in Boston. I think I got Boston tonight, but I've got Dallas in the series in 6.
You got Dallas?
I got Dallas.
They're going to lose the first game?
Yeah. They'll respond on Sunday.
Wow.
Game 2 at Boston. Look, I can't get away from the fact that they've got the two best closers in the series. And I can't bet against Kyrie Irving and the way he's been playing especially, but also Luka Doncic. I think it's finally his time.
And he's playing against Boston. It's going to be some extra juice for Kyrie.
Dude, I went to a game in Boston.
That might be the downfall,
This was 2 years ago. I was at a game in Boston. It was a regular season game, Celtics-Pacers. This was about a year after Kyrie left. And there was an F Kyrie Irving chant. Kyrie Irving wasn't at the game. He wasn't on the Pacers. And the fans hated him so much that there was an F Kyrie Irving chant like a year after he left in a game that he had nothing to do with. The people hate him in Boston. So I'm very intrigued to see his reception tonight when he returns to Boston. So maybe he'll be a little more amped up.
Saying.
But Celtics are favored by 6.5.
That could hurt him, though. Like sometimes if you're too amped up and you want to stick it to that team, you get out of your game.
That ever happened to you?
Do too much. Not to me personally, no, because I don't have those high and low emotions.
Pretty mellow dude.
I'm pretty straight line, but Kyrie's one of those guys I can see. Like,
but he seems like a new man. You see him talking post game to Chuck and Shaq.
Everything changes when you get punched in the face, though, right? So I think this is a different scenario. Like he was a different guy, but now he's facing that old team, and like that's just one thing. Like when I was playing, and some guy was going back on our team to his former team, we all knew it, and we all wanted to feed him the ball.
Yeah,
we want you to go off on your former team. So they're going to want that.
Let Luka get his, though, man.
Luka's going to get his.
Let him open it up for Kyrie.
Luka's going to get his. But they definitely want to see Kyrie get hot and light Boston up.
Well, Tony Smith, we really spun the globe tonight.
I'm watching for that.
If you will. Spun the globe.
Spun the globe.
The earth is not flat, Kyrie. We went to Brazil. We went to Boston.
I wonder
we
if
went
he's
to Dallas.
over that now.
Probably not. He's still nuts, but he's also a very fun basketball player to watch. Game 1 coming up on ESPN. Wisconsin coverage starts in about an hour as tip time, 7:30. Dallas-Boston, Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Always good catching up with you, my man. Appreciate the time.
Yeah, man. Good to be here.
That will do it for us tonight. Homer's back with you tomorrow to wrap up the week right here on the Homer Hour. Thanks to Chris Larson. Thanks to TVV for helping us out tonight. Homer back tomorrow right here on the Homer Hour on ESPN Wisconsin. Peace.
We do have an accident on 43 heading southbound right over Fond du Lac Avenue. It's got the 2 right lanes blocked.